What happened? Tony Wendell, here I am. Call to order. Welcome, everyone. Let's get this meeting going and do a pledge of allegiance to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Okay. Roll call.
Chairperson Wendell.
Here.
Vice Chair Spencer.
Here.
Commissioner Pitchley.
Here.
Commissioner Lujan.
Here.
Commissioner Potter.
Here.
And in her very first meeting, Youth Commissioner Mrs. Zimmerman.
Here.
Yay. All right. All right, number 3, adoption of the agenda. It was brought to my attention that on 5.6, the department update, Commissioner Potter was not in attendance last meeting. I don't know if we need to correct that or not, but he was not able to second it.
We'll get to that. Let's do the adoption of the agenda.
Oh, okay.
Point of order.
I'm sorry, that was adoption of the minutes. I got messed up, you know.
And Chair, I have a comment.
Okay.
If we could, in the future, have any amended agendas or minutes where they've been changed, if we could just to verify that it's been done, have that brought back, not necessarily for any approval, but just if it could be part of the packet so that we could see, maybe have that in italics or underlined, whatever that change was. I think that's just a good practice.
Correct. That sounds good.
Thank you.
Adoption of the minutes on here? I don't see adoption of the minutes on here.
I don't know.
I must have just made that up. Okay.
So we will need a motion to adopt the agenda.
The minutes will be right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so in a different spot. Okay, thank you very much. All right, make a motion to of the adoption of the agenda. That's the minutes. Yeah, I got them back. I got them confused.
I second.
I guess, yeah, so 5.1, I guess that's when we'll get there. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 4, public comment, non-agenda items. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the Recreation Commission on any matter that's not on the agenda that is within subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The Commissioner Chair reserves the right to limit the speaker's time to 3 minutes. You're not allowed to make any personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Do we have any public comment? Public comment? Any written communication?
None, sir.
All right. We are okay with closing out number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I don't think I need to make a motion on that, do I? Help me with.
No.
Sometimes my brain is full of candy. All right. Number 5, discussion topics. 5.1, approve Recreation and Parks Commission meeting minutes from September 15th, 2025.
The second, was it 5? Where is it? After 5, 6, I wasn't here, so I cannot second.
For the minutes?
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments?
Also 5.5, Potter was mentioned.
Oh, Potter here, okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we're gonna strike Commissioner Potter from,
You can adopt as revised.
okay, so I'd like to adopt that as advised. Okay.
Revised.
Wait, I'm sorry?
Adopt as revised.
Adopted as revised, yeah. So we need to make a motion on
We need a
that?
motion
then?
on
Okay. Thanks for walking me through this. I'm
No,
a
you're
little rusty.
All in favor?
All in favor? Hey, we have to make a motion, though. Can I hear a motion for that?
I motion it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sorry, guys.
I got Commissioner Potter with the motion, Pitchley with the second. All in favor, 7-0, passed. With
5.1.
with the revised indicated Commissioner Potter did not second. We'll bring back based on
You said 7.
5.6, item 5.6 of the agenda meeting. Yep, it passed
heard you say 7.
Sorry.
I think it's, yeah,
6-0.
yeah.
With Commissioner Pitchley's recommendation in regards to bringing back the revision with italicized changes.
Or something.
Correct?
Correct.
No.
Perfect. All right. Let's move on to 5.2. We're going to welcome our new youth commissioner, Leah Zimmerman.
Yay! You have my staff report, but I will say this. It is very important for our community and our city to get young people involved. We are very excited to have Leah on board. She had a chance to make a brief presentation and meet City Council, which was a great opportunity. And for those of you who don't know, she's a student at El Dorado High School, very involved, very excited. I don't know if you wanted to share anything, you could say no, but I also left a little city pin up there for you with your agenda. We're very, very excited to have you on board. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Any comments?
I'm excited that you're here, and I'm looking forward to the connections that we'll be able to make with the youth in our community. So we're really excited to have you on. Thank you.
I have a question, and this is probably more for you. So her role as the voice of youth on this commission, is she a voting member? Is she a non-voting member? How does that work?
She's a voting member.
Voting member, okay. So if we
That's
end up
correct.
with a 3-3 on something,
It's my understanding that I would be the deciding tie because it's a recommending board because everything we end up.
advisory, sure. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And just a point of clarification, as much as we collaborate and we value everyone's opinion, it is at the recommendation of the director. So even if everyone was to say, hey, we want to go on a long field trip, and all 6 of you are like, we should go to Six Flags. And then I was to be like, hey, I don't think we can afford Six Flags, but all of you said, let's go to Six Flags. And I'm kind of saying, although I do love Six Flags, my recommendation is what I would present. No offense, but that's just how the formatting is.
Okay.
But thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that.
All right. Shall we move on to, so welcome. You're going to have a lot of fun. 5.3, Halloween event update.
I will actually turn this over to Commissioner Wendell, if you don't mind. I mean, I have some stuff I'd like to share. We're very excited. We're in the final stages before the 31st.
Yeah.
We're looking for candy and volunteers. For each of you on the commission, I strongly encourage you and invite you to come and spend a little bit of time, whether it's 5 minutes or 35 minutes or 2 hours. You want to hang out with this, the city will have a tent there. We'll have some candy. Staff made you guys like nice professional badges, and if you want to dress up, that would be great, and can come out and hand out candy and meet some of our residents. So I definitely encourage the commission and staff to want to be there, and other volunteers, if they want to sign up, please let us know. Commissioner Wendell.
Today we started the social media campaign, so all the posts got out there. I boosted one of them just to get some more eyes on it, and turned over the Instagram account to a couple of the volunteers on my team so they could do posts when I don't have time to do them and whatnot. But everything is pretty much set and ready to go. It's becoming a much bigger event, and I think we've got about 400 pounds of candy donated so far for the merchants, which is really good. So we're storing that at my store, but people are dropping it off to Angie at Pop Art or to the Community Foundation as well. We just, Alan Ming, I bought some skeletons, and Alan bought some other little Halloween things, and they're hanging on the poles, the light poles, not in the way of the lights at all. And they look pretty cool, little Halloween situations, which was kind of, I got that idea from Folsom, which all their street signs or poles have little characters hanging from them. Hopefully nobody jumps up there and grabs them down or anything like that, but you never know. Matt, we've got the big tree coming up. I mean, the big tree, the big pumpkin that so the second year, or this is the third year that big pumpkin is making it out, I think, right? The new one. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We've got the carnival here, and we have the carnival. Hands for Hope is doing one by the Bell Tower, which is really fun. And yeah, it's pretty easy. You know, it's on a Friday this time, so.
It is on a
You
Friday.
know, it's just great. You know, Halloween is a great event, and we're all looking forward to it. So,
That's clever. Yeah, thank you to the 2030 Club and to the Community Foundation, Lions Club. Lions Club will be facilitating the carnival here at Town Hall. And thank you to all the businesses downtown who are participating. And not even if you're on downtown past Bedford. I mean, a lot of the businesses, even on this side of Bedford, towards Town Hall. I mean, everyone really, really participates and engages. So we're really, really excited for that.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
thank you to everybody and for their participation.
Yeah, come on down if you can. It's fun. And on the anchors, like both sides green room and also the Prospector are going to be having Halloween events that evening too. So as we wrap it up, then people could move on over to those and keep it going.
I think Prospector was 21 and up, right?
I think it is.
Yeah, I think
'cause it's
some of them might, yeah.
Yeah, so I
they have
think,
an age
yeah,
limit
because
on theirs, yeah.
most of the kids, they end up, after this, they run up to Cumbelic.
Yeah.
And start going crazy in that area, so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just fun. I was just at the Preston Castle haunt in Ione the other day, and it was so much fun. Someday, my dream would to have a haunted house here too, so maybe we'll make that happen, right? All right. All right, shall we move on to 5.4?
Questions or?
Oh, yeah. Oh, any questions from the public? You're good? We're all good? All right. Thank you. Let's move on to 5.4, community survey.
First of all, thank you to Commissioner Lujan and Commissioner Pitchley in regards to meeting with me early one morning to go over some of those review questions. As many of you know, or for those who have been involved during our last meeting around trying to develop a comprehensive survey. There are a lot of philosophies behind different types of surveys, and I'll jokingly say this. I cannot honestly remember in my personal life when the last time I was to sit down and actually do a survey, even when they tried to offer me something for free. You know, it is a very unique and challenging sometimes situation to really get information out of individuals. And I think that during our meeting, all of that said, during our meeting with both commissioners and the ad hoc to kind of develop this, three particular things kind of came out thematically. What do residents want? What do residents need? And almost kind of like this overarching philosophical component to why they want these things and why they need these things. And I think through some of the dialogue that myself and the two commissioners had, we really tried to scale it down to a point where, well, are we really asking times? Are we really asking little nuances around what, you know, is it a splash pad or all these other things? Are we really asking meaningful questions where we can collect quality data to quantify what type of plan we want to go ahead and put ahead of us? We want to be strategic and intentional around it. Then we should pretty much design those questions to gather that type of information. And so in my staff report, as you can notice, we identified and tried to scope down 5 particular questions. I'm going to go through these questions pretty succinctly, but I'll try to be as quick and summarize them as fast as possible. But the outcome for this item and the conversation, the goal for the conversation is there are no sacred cows here. Yes, I wrote it, and yes, we did meet. This is our opportunity to really provide feedback, kind of delve in and say, is this the kind of information that we're wanting to collect? Are we really trying to understand what residents want when we ask this question? Are we really trying to understand what residents need when they answer these questions? And are we really trying to understand why we want to gather that information, or why they're giving us that information? So real briefly there in regards to page 2, it says item number 1, or question number 1, which community service are you most interested in? I just indicated circle 3. It's probably because that's the highest number I could count when I was writing the report. That was a joke. But I categorized them, everything from park use to enrichment classes. There are a lot of different terms and a lot of different things, but this kind of surmises about the 48 different areas from trails, parks, creeks that we oversee. Number 2, rank the following potential improvements to parks and recreation in order of priority for your community, 1 being the highest priority and 5 being the lowest priority. I did list obviously more than 5 there, but I figured if they really wanted to understand what those 5 were, we could scale that down. Item number 3, in your opinion, why is it important for the Department of Community Services to focus on the aforementioned items of recreation, parks, trails, events, creeks, and public spaces? Question number 4, what is your preferred method of receiving information about our services? Is it flyers, banners, or ads, or seasonal activity guide, social media, email, text, or website? Question number 5, rate each on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 not that important or 5 very important. Recreation programs for residents of all ages and abilities, activities for active adults 50 plus, family-oriented special events, environmental conservation for parks, trails, creeks, open spaces and facilities, and affordable access for low-income individuals. With that said, there are methods that we're going to want to discuss and talk about in regards to whether it's in print or whether it's bilingual or multi-language or whether it's door-to-door. The methods we can come up with as we kind of dialogue and go through some of the next steps. My hope for tonight is really to focus on the questions. If the questions are quality, then we keep them. If they're not quality, then we need to revise them and go through it as forth. So with that said, I'm looking forward to the feedback, and hopefully we can finalize some solid surveys from this, a solid survey from this. Okay. Thank you very much, Commission. You have my report. I'm available for questions if you have any.
I have a couple questions. So is this going up to both the youth and adult or one family survey?
Originally, I believe it was individual.
Good. Multi-language, I think, is important. It says choose 3. I know it's the highest that I can count to, but through the survey, you have 1 through 5, 5 through 1. Let's take 5, my recommendations. And also, you mentioned wants and needs a number of times, and people need to know the difference between their wants and needs. So if they're going to have 1 through 5 or circle 5, is this a want or a need? I think it's important. That's all I have. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I have some feedback based on the meeting that Mr. Pickley and I had with you. So I figure I'll just go through the list here. Number 1, I think we had chatted about you wanted to inform the public in the way one of the questions was worded about some of the things that we do, keeping it short and sweet. Adding Recreation and Parks Commission oversees a combination of 48, I think you said the number was?
Yeah.
Parks, facilities, and programs. Of these, here's the top, how many are here? Let's see, 12, or there might be a little more here. 14. Here's some of our top 14. Please circle the 3 or 5 that are most important to you, and then maybe adding at the bottom other, so it gives the public an opportunity to put something else in that maybe isn't listed, because that way it also informs the public, like we mentioned, of, hey, we actually are overseeing quite a bit here. Here's some of the top components. Tell us what's important to you, but also here's a list for something else that you've thought of that isn't in this list of 14.
Good point.
2, let me see here. I kind of feel like 2 and 3 are a little bit combined there, and maybe simplifying the question, because I know we discussed with Mr. Pickley about the why being important as well, so keeping it short and sweet. In your opinion, why is it important for the Department of Community Services to focus on any of the items mentioned above or something else that's important to you? So keeping it short and sweet, but also that way gives the public the opportunity to write something that they, again, that's not listed in the number 2, in case there's something else that they would like to add. Number 4, the other thing that we had discussed that was important was how do you receive your information and updates about Parks and Rec? So I think 4 should probably be a 2-part component. 1, we want to know how they're receiving their information. For some people, it might be the website. I think a lot of people use Facebook in our town as well. But we want them to tell us how they're used to receiving it, because I think you had discussed that it was important to you to get more information out to the public. And so 1, we want to know how they receive it directly. And then the second part could be how you worded the question, which is, what is your preferred method of receiving information about our services? So then we could know what they might be interested in going forward. And then maybe adding maybe a part A, B, C. The C would be, would you like to receive text or emails from us going forward? If so, please provide your information here. So they could add their email or their phone number. 5, I'm not really sure if it's as needed. I kind of feel like 1 and 5, there's some similarity. 1 is what they're most interested in, and then 5 is what's important to you. So I don't know if you want to combo that in a way, or maybe adjust 5, but it kind of seemed, I don't want to say repetitive, but a little bit. So that's my feedback on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes, I do. Regarding, Commissioner Lewin mentioned a number of times in a number of meetings that in our mailers for the water, we put out information, watch for our survey. I think she has a great point there. We need to utilize that billing extensively. Secondly, in regards to the 48 areas that you work, I think it's opened up a can of worms. Mentioning there was 48, because I see 48 and I have 14 down there. What's missing? That's the way my mind thinks. As far as the marketing piece, or number 3, when we start asking for information, I think it could be a comment down below. Maybe 5 should be comment and move it up that way. As far as the marketing side of things, how to get it out there, if everybody wants email, do we have all the emails for all the 10,000 are in Placerville? We don't. So again, that's a letter that needs to be sent out where they can send an email if they choose to do so, or a text message to the Parks and Rec to gather their information. If they send you the email address and send you the text message, that's how they want to be informed. It's going to be costly if you do flyers. I don't know. It's a tough one, but I like the survey.
Thank you, Commissioner Potter. Anyone before I go?
Yeah, I've got a few here. First, for the sake of accuracy on the staff report itself, my last name, Pitchley, does not have a T.
Thanks for that.
Yep.
I think I pronounced it wrong, sorry. I think I
It's
said
okay.
Pickley.
You did.
Pitchley?
Yeah, it's Pitchley.
Pitchley,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay,
That's all right.
Pitchley.
Happens all the time.
Sorry.
I'm surprised people haven't screwed up Andre.
Right.
So my recommendation for number 1 would be, and I get that the name of the department is Community Services, but we've referred to Parks and Recreation in other questions. So why don't we just change that to which Recreation and Parks services or Recreation and Parks are you most interested in? I think it's just clear because Community Services is probably not a big deal, but I just think that would be consistent throughout. For number 2, developing the second item, developing new. I'd add park amenities to that.
At the top one in number 2?
In number 2, the second one listed, developing new park amenities. I think it's the 6th one down, expanding trails and paths for connectivity. I get it. And I think I know what you mean there, but I think people are also interested in just walking. So could we say walking and connectivity?
I think if it's talking about developing new park amenities, I'm not sure about expanding the trails to it, so walking it or use, park or trail
Or,
use.
yeah, maybe just eliminating, expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Down below, you've got weed abatement and fire mitigation. I think those could be combined. Although to be honest, if there is a difference, I guess I'm just not sure what that is, other than clearing trees and stuff like that, but I think it's all just, you know,
Maintenance.
yeah. Number 3, this would be my suggestion, and commissioners, please. In your opinion, why did you select the above items? Simplify it that way. I'm like you, Dennis. When I was doing these things, I'd get really wordy because I'm a wordsmith when it comes to creating documents, but I think we want to simplify it so people aren't. We want the answers, so the quicker we can get to them to answer would be great. On number 5, I'm kind of with Larissa on this, but maybe if we said, instead of that list, if we said kids 0 to 12, teens 13 to 17, adults 18 and up, families, seniors, visitors, just as a suggestion. And I would like to know how the commission feels about that suggestion, or am I off?
Are you saying
Instead of that list,
rate on a scale of 1 to 5,
most important.
what programs are most important?
Okay,
to the
that's a
age
good
group,
point.
or
Rate on a scale of 1 to 5, programming that's most important.
Programming.
Something like that.
Yeah, that would make more sense. Yeah, programming
Okay,
that's most
thank
important to you. Yeah.
And do you want to break it out by ages then?
Yeah, that's it. I think
mean,
it's a good
I-
idea.
I
That-
think it's a good idea.
I hear a lot of complaints that there's not enough for teens to do, so I don't know if Ms. Zimmerman has any thoughts on that.
I
but-
believe we should broken out, and because if it's going to the youth as well, they have a right to mark. Hey, Mark, now you're gathering more information, demographics that a youth may have filled this out. It's a good point.
And Leah, what do you think? Is that important for us to be identifying those age groups, or is it better to go by like your schools, your like elementary or junior high? How would you do that?
For me, for elementary, it's kind of hard because they can't really do much about it. But I think for middle school and high school, for sure.
Okay.
But for elementary school,
Yeah.
Like-
The parents are probably going to answer
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah, that's true.
so, but for middle school and high school, for sure.
So you'd say call it out by like school
Middle school up.
range as opposed to
Yeah.
ages? Okay.
Would you recommend like 10 and up,
I think 12 and up.
12 and up?
12 and up.
Okay.
Okay, instead of 13 and up, okay. All right.
So you could do like youth, like maybe youth/teens? Would that maybe be
Yeah, that could work.
youth/teens?
Yeah.
And then jump to
Yeah,
the next category up?
Yeah.
and then my last thing was, and we talked about this, was asking them, trying to ask a question that somehow helps us know 2 things. Are they really a Placerville resident, a city, a Placerville resident? And the other part of that would be, what park facility do they utilize the most, or are they closest to? And I'm not really sure how we go about that, but I think, one, we want to know, is this really a city resident? Because if they're not, while I value their opinion, it's just not what we need for a survey that's supposed to be of city residents. And just knowing, getting a better idea of what parks so it could be, which park or recreation facility do you visit most often? Maybe circle no more than 2. We put a list of all of them on there to let them circle that, or we're asking either to put an X, to the, show a map, they put an X near the park that they're closest to. If they could, if we put some just really basic roads on there, then we would be able to get an idea, and we put the little city boundary around that. If their X is going outside the boundary, then we know that they're not a city resident, or at least that's what they're indicating. So it's something like that, but I'm not really sure how to flesh that one out.
But, as they fill this out and they put their address on it, I would imagine, because I know Greg Horsfall showed us at Peak the new map that they're working on with the different layers of how you could drill down and see who is city. So I would imagine if we get a database of respondents with their actual addresses, we could feed that into this new map, and it will actually tell us whether or not they're in city limits or not. If in case these go out, if it's a Facebook questionnaire or whatever, and we get people that aren't within the city limits, if that's in,
My thinking was, well, what if they don't put their address down and they send it back?
oh yeah,
So it was just one more way, and maybe we asked them to put that down too. And if it's the electronic version, and we use that logic progression, where if they put their address, we don't have to ask them what their zip code is or what park you're near. It could just then go right to which park do you visit most often. But on a paper one, it becomes a little trickier you can't really do logic on paper.
I truly believe you got to pinpoint this down to a mailer or an email. I wouldn't use Facebook, because it's going to go out publicly, and you get a survey, and you're going to get a lot of surveys coming from other areas. That's my concern. Though Andre made a lot of good points, as did Larissa. So it's
I don't totally
I think
agree,
it needs to
though.
work. We need to.
Is the goal to only survey the 10,000 that lives in city limits? Because, I mean,
That's a good
the,
point, yeah.
the pool has like, what, 70% county residents that use it? And you have a lot of high schoolers that attend El Dorado High School that are in so many different areas. Like all the middle schools, when they all go to the high school, they're all coming here to,
What was
you know,
this
right here
directed
in
for?
town,
Was
so-
it directed for Placerville, or was it directed for?
A combination of both. Ideally, we want to have
California.
as many residents as possible, but we want to collect as much
as much
information.
data as possible.
Then Facebook's your key.
Yeah.
Do it all.
As far as getting the questionnaire out there, I do think it would be nice to see if there was a way to distribute at El Dorado High School. So I don't know if there's any particular classes that you think, Ms. Zimmerman, that would be beneficial, that we could maybe get it distributed somehow.
I could talk with ASB because we do a video bulletin on every Thursday. So I could talk with them and we can get it on there, and we can also post it on the school website
That would be cool.
and
'cause then we
Parent
could
Square and
yeah.
Student Square, like all of that.
If that's the case, then we go to Pondo and we go to, what's the other school? The high school?
I think that with our
Union
commission being focused with El Dorado High School, I mean, I would focus it on El Dorado High School. I don't think it would be necessary to do Ponderosa and,
If that's the case, then why are we putting it out globally? What's the purpose? To get more youth, because there's more youth. There's youth that from Placerville that go to Union Mine and Ponderosa. So now you're limiting just to El Dorado.
it's the same reason we only have one student representative from El Dorado High School. That's why, in my opinion. So if you're asking why not, it's because we only have one student from one local high school.
But
So-
she is the youth commissioner.
Yes.
Over
From our
compasses.
from our local high school, because Ponderosa is not in our district and neither is Union Mine in city limits.
I think you're missing a point there.
Yeah.
I truly believe.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah.
Let me clarify then what I was saying, and if I misspoke, it's probably because I just wasn't thinking clearly. I think it's important that we know if the people that are responding to the survey are within the city limits or not. Now, I would normally say really only concerned about the input that we get from city residents because they are the ones that are paying local taxes. But to the point, we have a larger service area. I don't even know what our sphere of influence is, but we're the local. For instance, we're the only local pool between here and Tahoe and Cameron Park. So I get that, and a lot of the kids that may want to be, who end up going to Ponderosa, maybe in some of our youth programs, that I completely understand. I just think it's important if we can try to gather as much information, or gather the information that indicates if they're a city resident or not. And we could still take their information and value that opinion. I just would like to see us figure out a way to clarify that as best we can.
I agree. I like that because one thing I noticed with the insight that I have to the kids that come down that walk from Markham and El Dorado High School, some of these kids their parents work in town, and they'll walk down to the store, for instance, and come down to Main Street and hang out for a while. But then their parents will come grab them at 5:30 or whatever and take them back to Georgetown or wherever.
far.
So they're still utilizing the city services and they go to school in the city itself, but don't live in the city itself too. So I think it's important to get both, right, as you were saying, the broad situation, because a lot of the kids use our street and our fun, that don't live in the city limits, but school in the city limits, in that sense. So
Just a couple of things. I honestly think we need to tighten this up quite a bit. I think there are too many options. This is an initial survey. I think it would be beneficial for us, because it's initial, to tighten up some of the options that people have and to segregate out what is, and I don't know if you guys actually want, recreation and community services. I'm not sure the general public understands, nor did I, quite frankly, the difference and what Parks and Rec is responsible for. So if we want to drill down to what is it that the community utilizes, what options, what activities, what areas, pool, trails, parks, etc. I think maybe there's too much here for people to grasp and really think about. The other part of it, and that's just me, I think simpler is better. I also think there's a problem when you ask needs versus wants. And I'm not sure that most people understand the difference between a need and a want. And so if you want to say, I want better parks, I think it would be better than saying, is that a need or a want? That's just my opinion.
makes sense. Folks, any?
One more thing. I think it's really, really important that if you want to reach the larger population of Placerville, then a flyer in the water and sewer mailer is probably the best, most efficient way to reach as many people as possible.
I do agree with that for the adults. But for the youth, I think maximizing the opportunities at the high school.
Well,
And Mrs. Zimmerman
I'm not
for-
I'm not
Oh, yeah, yeah,
saying
no, I'm
not
saying
to do
both,
that.
yeah. I think
I'm
both would
saying
be excellent, yeah.
Absolutely do that.
Yeah,
That's
because then we hit a
hugely
different target
important.
market. The Parent Square, we also have that at Chanel School, so we could probably even reach out to the middle schools to see what they might, which I guess is that just Markham? Is that the only one in our area, right? Because the others are elementary schools, right?
I think so.
I believe so.
Isn't it just Markham?
'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think Pleasant Valley's in our
Yeah, I
district.
don't think so. So at least the middle school, if we can perhaps get the middle schoolers to take the survey too. Because like you said, with elementary, I'm like, at my daughter's school, it's like kindergartners aren't going to fill out this survey.
Yeah.
So if we're trying to reach the student body, I think Markham would also be another target market.
Yeah, because that's just middle school only.
Yeah, because they're going to be used to surveys. As far as languages, absolutely Spanish and English would be great. Unless you have any other recommendations, is there any other languages you see used at the school a lot?
There's only a few people I know that speak different languages, but they also moved from, for example, I have this Ukrainian girl that goes to our school, but she understands English, but that it's just her and her siblings that I know that speak that language.
Okay,
So yeah, definitely English and Spanish
English and
for the
Spanish.
most part.
Okay.
One more thing, on number 1, I'm struggling with safe playgrounds, because I don't think anybody's going to argue with that. So I'm thinking, is there another way to say playgrounds, like, I'm not even quality playgrounds, but maybe just
Accessible?
Or just put playgrounds?
just playgrounds, maybe. Playgrounds and play structures or something like that. I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
think.
play structures is good.
I think what we're trying to do, we don't want to, I wouldn't want to put in something that makes it hard for somebody to say, well, of course I want safe playgrounds. I'm not going to circle that. So,
That's my point about drilling down a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, so quality field usage, maybe just field usage. Maybe we
Yeah.
take out the qualifiers.
Yeah,
the,
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good point. The only recommendation I have is if we do list special events under number 2, maybe we just list a couple examples so that we could direct them so they know what we're
Yeah.
talking about. Because special events could be anything. So if we're talking about, I know we're not talking about Main Street specific, but but that's part of it as well. But yeah, I would do that, and I think circle 5 would be better too than 3. And I know earlier there was talk about combining 2 and 5, but your goal is to rank and rate, right? Two different things. Okay. Other than that, thank you guys for taking the time to meet with Dennis. And
I think that was great. You know, full transparency, and let's be clear on where we are as a city in regards to the amount of resources that we have and the goals that we have. You know, I think Commissioner Spencer brings up a good point on kind of what is a need and what is a want. A lot of this has to do with not just collecting the data to come up with a plan, but that plan needs to also encompass an educational point and public communication in regards to, yes, you may see this as a need, but this is actually classified as a want. And so when we gather all the information and we're casting that wide net, although I do agree with removing some of those qualifiers, if there is a financial component to a safe playground versus a new playground, unfortunately, people are going to feel like they need a new playground. Well, that is an opportunity for us to understand, if that's what they're saying in this survey, to define the difference between a new playground and fixing an existing playground. So if I've got $150,000, then could I fix 2 playgrounds for 75, or do I take that 150, look for more money, because the playground's probably going to cost 250, let's be clear. Am I putting in a new playground because that's what you think you need and that's what you think, or that's what you think you want? And so a lot of the collection behind the data is allowing us to understand and have the public communicate to us what their perception is. So then that way we can qualify that information and say, okay, well, this is how they're seeing it. Then I'm saying it the wrong way as a staff person. I'm communicating it incorrectly. So I need to reframe it and say, hey, look, you need to realize that of the 48 areas that we oversee, a high percentage, if not 99% or more, comes from the general fund. And in some cases, in some of those parks, those assessment districts have not been touched since '96 with no escalator. So it really is allowing me to collect, the best analogy is to collect all the colors and the perception of what the public is seeing as a trail and priorities. So then that way we as a commission can go through and say, oh, they're seeing this as a need. That's more of a want. This is the actual need. So now that we've collected all of these things, yes, safe and whatnot, I'll have more of a better understanding contextually on how I need to communicate better to the public. So then that way, when we're developing the plan strategically and putting it into this master plan, that's ultimately where we're going, now I have the colors. It's clear. They don't understand the difference between Department of Community Services versus Recreation and Park Services. They don't understand the dichotomy of maintaining a trail versus maintaining a creek versus playground inspections. And so really this is my initial assessment of where are we at? Where's our starting point? Make it simple, collect the data, and based on your feedback, it sounds like I've got some work to do with the existing questions tighten it down. I think to Ms. Lynn's words were, scale it back a little bit, kind of sharpen it up, clean up some of the qualifiers, and then we'll bring it back next month, or we'll bring it back at the next meeting, and then we'll go from there. It's a work in progress. We've got to take our time to be able to do it right.
Go ahead.
And it got me thinking that, and I agree with Lynn. I think that wants versus needs. What we need in this town is clean water, public safety services, all of the stuff that goes along with being here in town. But as a former Parks and Recreation professional, it pains me to say we're not essential. As much as I think we are, we're just not an essential service. In every city, Parks and Recreation could go away, things would still go. It'd be missed, and I think that there'd be a big groundswell of we need to do something, and whether the local government would pick that up or it would be farmed out to others is important. So I agree. I think that through that lens that it's a want, but it's an important want. It's an important want for a lot of people to have swim lessons for their kids, to have opportunities to play and hike and all of that. So,
And I think
Just a
that's the
thought.
unique, to your point, and I agree with you. I love the dialogue, and sorry to interrupt, but I think that's the unique blend of where we are as a Department of Community Services versus Recreation and Park Services, in where there are certain aspects, and I'll be very frank, it's hard for a recreation professional to say dodgeball or youth flag football is not essential. Open space is essential. Quality parks are essential. Quality parks are essential for property value. People look at it in regards to homes and for communities and safety. I think there are a lot of components that are kind of integrated in regards to some of those community services, right, if that makes any sense. And so because we are such a small city and we have very limited resources, strong but limited, where do we want to invest that resource long-term, right? Because so at this point, where are we going to set those, I'm talking a lot, but where are we going to set those priorities? Because I would love to have a bocce ball court. I would love to have more pickleball courts, but let's start somewhere and focus on the playgrounds, focus on our facilities, get them up to a certain point. We are playing chess. This is not checkers.
yeah. And it pains me to say this, that I like what you're saying, except that if the city had a huge deficit, would they be more likely to shutter a park or to take a few police officers off the street or to close a fire station? That's not a good example. It's not city services, but
Essential versus,
yeah, or to scale back public works. I don't think they would. And that's what bothers me, is that we're not essential in that regard. We might see it as very important to the quality of life, but that's reality, which is something that the profession in general, I don't know if it'll ever be able to work on it, but that would be a big help to know that providing things for kids to do is going to decrease your delinquency rates and is going to improve quality of life in different areas, whether it's environmental or socioeconomic, whatever. So, fun talk. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
I just one more little thing, and it has to do with the drilling down a little bit. You're the ones, how much money there is. You know how it has to be delegated with things that absolutely have to be done. So then there's the other pot of money. We don't want to overpromise to people. In other words, if I were just a normal citizen and I'm not saying that I'm normal by any means, but if I was just a citizen and didn't know anything about Parks and Rec or the city or anything, I would wonder if all of these things are things that community services are going to give me. So I want to make sure that we don't overpromise so people aren't disappointed.
I agree, and this is probably not going to be the most popular statement to make, but I'll say it very honestly. If we don't focus on new revenue, if we don't look at potential assessments, if we don't start planning now in 2025 and looking at the trends on where the market is and reassessing what our priorities are, apart from needs and wants, if we don't start this conversation now, I won't know how to communicate to the public the fact that fees potentially are going to go up. And that's the reality of where we're at. New assessments need to be considered, and that's the reality of the facts.
And that's absolutely true.
That
I
through collectively, through gathering this data, that's kind of going to be the ultimate message on. The funny way to say it is we can have anything we want. We cannot have everything we want. That's pretty much the crux of it. Sorry to make it so hard because it is recreation, but if we don't have the conversation today, we will continue to look back and be like, hey, we probably should have made some changes. So we need to pivot, we need to look at where we're at, we need to set some priorities, but most importantly, and I'll close with this, we need to ask the community to get involved, and we need to ask community for their feedback.
When are you planning to have this survey out?
I don't know. When it's ready.
Yeah.
That's my gut. When it's ready, and we feel it's ready, and I've talked to City Council, and I've talked to Dave, and I've talked to staff, and we feel it's ready. I want to move as soon as possible, absolutely, and we're going to continue down that trend, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to get stuff done, but we got to feel it's ready first.
All right. Well, good. Anybody else like to? Glad that we were able to help you start the seeds for that. Do we have any comment from the public on this? No? Okay. You guys comfortable with closing that out, moving to 5.5? Let's go to 5.5. Holiday tree lighting event update.
Holiday free tree lighting event downtown for you and your family and your friends and visitors. First of all, thank you to Paul Ingalls, Sierra Pacific Industries, and Doug Veerkamp and Mr. Commissioner Potter. We were able to get started on some of the planning to put the tree downtown. And I don't want to steal too many thunder. You know what? No? Okay. You sure? All right. On November 15th, we're scheduled to install the tree downtown in the Christmas tree stand near the bell tower. The four of us, myself, Commissioner Potter, Mr. Ingalls, and Mr. Veerkamp, were able to go tree hunting, and I learned some stuff. I didn't know if you realized this, but you can't drop a tree. Like, you have to pick it, which just makes sense. I mean, I never thought that. But they're very passionate about picking, I'll say this, very passionate about picking the right tree. We had very zealous and very exciting conversations to make sure that we had, Paul and Doug were like, we need the best tree downtown. And it was so cool to see how excited they were to make sure they got the best one out there. So Commissioner Wendell and I and Mr. Potter, we sit on the planning committee for the downtown, and so our hope is to have the tree not just installed on the 15th, but kind of encourage some of the businesses and get some local marketing. We don't want to start the marketing too early because we do have Halloween just around the corner. Tentatively, the tree will be decorated the week of the 17th, either the 17th or the 18th. The event will be on Black Friday, November 28th, and the tree will be lit at 6 p.m. So we're very excited. There's a lot of different activities and vendors, and the idea is a small town feel, keep it simple, tradition. Tradition is the word. So I don't know if Chairperson Wendell, would you like to share or add a little bit? And if you guys have any questions.
We're meeting again this Wednesday, right?
We are meeting again this Wednesday.
So we should have the logo and the flyer finalized by then, so we could go forward, and marketing and will be started probably right after Halloween.
Yeah.
I would say, but yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a fun event. I mean, it always is a fun event, but it's looking. And I called Santa the other day,
Nice.
which was cool, and got him confirmed, and we had a nice chat. Yeah.
Send you a text?
No, we talked on the phone.
Wow, that's
And-
cool.
Yeah, and no, she wasn't available. She's, cookies and chocolate right now, but but he's excited about the fact that his visit's going to be a little shorter. He doesn't have to try to cross the street to light the thing because he needs all that power and magic to go up and down chimneys, and so we have to keep it reserved because it was really hard for him last year because by the time Christmas came, he was so tired.
He was tuckered.
Yeah.
What time does this start? You said the tree lighting's at 6:30,
4 p.m.
4 p.m., and it will go until, like,
Typically, once the tree's lit, the crowd tends to dissipate. The vendors
Okay.
will stick around till 8.
okay, thank you.
And tree 6 though.
6?
6 for the tree. Yeah.
For the tree. I will say this because we do get a lot of questions from the public around. Let me tell me more. When's the flyer coming out? And although it may feel late, I'm going to be very candid and upfront with you. Marketing is one problem we never have with this event, right? If anything, we want to target our marketing and be strategic with it. As much as we would love everyone in the world to attend this event, we want to be very intentional with the amount of marketing we put out. So.
Then the Facebook page has been updated with the new logo,
Yep.
and a nice picture of the crisscross lights, which look really beautiful. We're going to start tease posting on that pretty soon. But it is, I think, a mistake that a lot of folks make when you're dealing with events and stuff is too much advertising and too much social media on various events that are overcrossing because you'll tend to just
Saturated.
and thumb fatigue by just skipping things because you're seeing it so much. But we definitely were.
Sounds good.
It's been fun. Yeah,
Very exciting.
cool. Any public comment on 5.5?
Question?
Okay, let's move to 5.6 department update.
I will be as brief as possible. Some of this is a follow-up of what I went over at last month's meeting in regards to tree maintenance and the parklet. We're still working on the final location for the parklet. We've had some conversations with Goldbug staff, but we also want to be intentional where it's going to live indefinitely. As you may know, thank you to Supervisor Veerkamp for some of the sponsoring of the tree maintenance. So if you guys haven't had a chance, at Bedford, it's a little safer in regards to line of sight. We were able to remove the tree at Mooney, and we did some significant tree maintenance in the Ivy lot in regards to the tree canopy and along the creek. If you also notice, along Hangtown Creek, our staff, and thank you to Todd and the rest of the crew who have been out there making sure that we're keeping the creek and the trail as clean and clear as possible. No movement's been made or further discussion in regards to the Christmas tree. On Bedford, we did have some of the things that aren't included in my staff report. We did have some successful events this weekend. Thank you to Matt Lishman, Todd, and Luke for being out there. I believe Deanna was there too, possibly, for the community cleanup at the Park and Ride. We also had a softball tournament at Lions Park, and we had a Goldbug Park cleanup. I don't know if staff wanted to be able to share on that, but we've been very, very busy and very, very diligent. Next month's meeting is the week of November. So if you noticed on our agenda, I did cancel next month's meeting, and then we'll try our best to either the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll move up. We'll try to move up the one in December, so we can at least close out the year with one at the beginning. We'll see. The calendar's a little tight in December, as everybody knows. But with that said, you have my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to have it, or happy to answer them, or if I left something out, maybe I can go ahead and answer it.
Everybody okay? All right, public comment on 5.6? All right. Before we adjourn, well, that's hard word to say. Thank you, Council Member Cowder, for being in the audience tonight. It's very cool. All right. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this thing. I'm saying it wrong again.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Welcome to the party. All right, thank you, guys. Adjourn. Adjourn.